So today I want to talk about hidden brokerage fees. The hidden fees that most people never think about until it's too late. These are things that probably don't happen too regularly or that you're not aware of. So the first one is payment for order flow. I have these organized with a thumbs up, thumbs down. The best ones are near the top, the worst ones are near the bottom. Near the top is Vanguard, Fidelity, and Public. They receive no money for order flow. The next one is Charles Schwab. It gets paid 15 cents for each 100 shares on average. Now I picked the highest values for each. So each of these, this would be the highest values that I could find in their public statement, their 606 statement. eTrade, Sofi 0.19, eTrade 0.32, Alpaca 0.35. And surprisingly, I thought Robinhood would be number one because they used to be, I think, around $2.20 per 100 shares. Webull is actually higher, $1.66. So that's quite surprising. Okay, options pay for order flow. This is for people that invest in stock options. So at the top is Vanguard at 0. Fidelity is 16 cents, the next one. They do receive payment for order flow for options. eTrade is the next one at 39 cents. Robinhood, 42 cents. Then you have Charles Schwab at 48 cents, Ally, SoFi, and Webull is also the highest for options payments at 58 cents. Now the surprising thing is Webull has no payments for options. However, they're making it up on the back end in payment for order flow for the options. Smash, like, and subscribe. Okay, death fee. This is something most people are probably not thinking about. When the account holder passes away, some of these have a transfer on death fee. So Vanguard has no transfer on death fee. Fidelity has no transfer on death fee. Charles Schwab, it's $50. SoFi, eTrade, and Webull, they're all in the $75 club. And the highest out of all of them is $200, M1 Finance and Public. These two companies make a lot of money on death and transfers. In M1, these transfer fees could be up to $400 if you add up the transfer fee and the death tax. Now, I'm not sure that they add all of those up together. I would think that they would just do the death transfer tax and not do a separate $100 transfer fee. Okay, also another way that these companies make money is by paying less in the interest rates. Instead of paying a high interest rate, many of these will pay the least amount possible. So at the very high end here, we have Vanguard at 5.29% APY. At the very bottom here, we have 0 to 0.01%. SoFi, eTrade, Ally, Public, and Alpaca are all either paying 0 or 0.01%. And 1.5% for Fidelity is, Webull is a high 5%. Fidelity is a high 4.99%. And M1 Finance and Robinhood are both in the 1.5% club. Charles Schwab is in the 0.45% club. So it's very disappointing how little Schwab pays, but eTrade is even worse. Okay, reorganization fees. This is the reason I did this video, which was a publicly traded air transportation company. It's one of these companies that delivers freight to Amazon and a lot of these companies. Anyways, the company was acquired and bought out. And so my shares were going to be acquired. And rather than sell the shares, I decided I'm going to postpone my capital gains and just let it go through naturally. So I let the transaction go through. And guess what happened? I had a $38 fee because I have the account with eTrade. They charged me a reorganization fee. So for acquisitions, mergers, or if the company, I think, even changes the ticker symbol, they may have a $38 fee. So that's not a very good thing. So I was very disappointed with that. I mean, that's way more than what you would pay with any commissions, or you'd have to buy a lot of stock, thousands and thousands of shares, in order to get $38 and pay for order flow, even with Robinhood, which is high. This is a very greedy tactic that I don't like. Luckily, there's several companies that have $0 in reorganization fees. All of these that you see here, Vanguard, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, Robinhood, Webull, and M1 Finance, they have no fee for reorganization fee. And then as you go down to the bottom, it gets worse. So SoFi is $50, which is even more than eTrade. Public is $50, Ally is $50. And the worst out of all of them is Alpaca. This is an API-based brokerage. It's designed for programmers and people that trade a lot. It's sort of a technical thing. $100. So you definitely don't want to hold your shares long with Alpaca. If a buyout order or merger goes through, sell it before it goes through. Otherwise, they're going to charge you $100. There's also a transfer fee. So when you've had the brokerage and let's say you've started with the thousands of dollars, maybe $1,000 a year, $5,000 a year, $10,000 a year. Over the years, you may have 100,000, 200, 300 millions of dollars, and then the company starts charging you, and you're not happy with them anymore. If you want to transfer the account to a different brokerage, a lot of them will charge you a fee. Luckily, Vanguard and Fidelity don't charge a fee. So if you want to try Vanguard or Fidelity and you decide, I don't like this broker, I don't like Vanguard, their interface is not very good, or I don't like the features they have, I don't like Fidelity, their website's down too much, you could transfer out to any of these other brokerage. Most of the brokers, even the ones down here, don't charge a fee for incoming transfers. It's only these fees that I have shown here are for outgoing transfers. So from transferring from like Fidelity to Public or eTrade to someone else. So in the $50 club, we have Charles Schwab. All of these here, Webull, Public, Sofi, and eTrade are all $75 transfer fees. And then M1 Finance is even higher at $100. Alpaca and Robinhood are also $100. Also, some of these brokers have a termination fee if you close the IRA. The only two that I found out of all of them that have a termination fee is Ally, which has a $25 termination fee if you close the IRA, and M1 Finance, which is $100. And this is very surprising. I've been seeing a lot of things about M1 Finance. They're supposed to be very long-term oriented, but when you see that there's a $200 death fee, there's a $100 IRA termination fee, it starts to look a lot less like a good long-term option when compared to Fidelity or Vanguard. Also, there's foreign stock fees. Now, there's a variety of foreign stock fees, and these are not all the same. So they may be listed as foreign stock fees, but they're for different things. So for example, Fidelity has a 1% foreign stock fee on dividends. And this, I was thinking it wouldn't include ADRs, American Depository Receipts, publicly traded companies, publicly traded foreign companies like ADRs. I was thinking it wouldn't include those, but I actually asked somebody at Fidelity and they said, yeah, it actually can include those. So if you get a dividend payment from a foreign traded stock, let's say like Shell, you could have a 1% charge on the dividend payment. Now the other ones, they have $50 payments on foreign stock fees. Now this could be the buying of a foreign stock, or it could be the selling of a foreign stock having a $50 charge. So you have Charles Schwab, Ally, even Vanguard, and M1 Finance, all $50 for foreign stock related fees. Now inactivity fee, the only one that I could find that has an inactivity fee that I thought was unreasonable was Sofi. So they have an inactivity fee that says that if you have 12 months of no activity, there will be a $25 fee. Now there were a couple of other ones. I think Ally or one of the other ones had an inactivity fee if the balance was less than $20 and there was no activity for 12 months. There were a couple like that. I thought that was reasonable because if you're investing and you've got less than $20 or less than $50, I mean, you're just sort of asking for trouble. So this one, the bad thing about it is, with Sofi, is you could have $1,000 if you don't do anything for 12 months, then you're going to get hit with the $25 fee. So I definitely don't like this one. Another one that really surprised me after looking at this is Vanguard. Vanguard has a Master Limited Partnership, MLP, IRA tax. If you own a Master Limited Partnership, they're typically commodity companies, energy companies, energy pipeline companies. If you own a Master Limited Partnership stock in an IRA, and now that would actually make sense to me that you would put it in an IRA because doing the taxes on it are kind of complicated. So for someone to put a Master Limited Partnership or a limited partnership, for someone to place a limited partnership into an IRA, that sort of makes sense to me. That's sort of a common sense thing to do. You could minimize your tax liability. Vanguard is charging a whopping $300 fee. Vanguard is charging $300, not just $300 one-time fee. This is every year that they have to do the taxes on it. This is $300 every year that they have to create the tax form or whatever for the stock. Okay, so one thing that I noticed, you may have noticed that I didn't include the pay for order flow for M1 Finance. So why did I do that? Well, because they don't actually make it available. Their pay for order flow, out of all the brokers that I looked at, M1 Finance was the only one that doesn't disclose their 606 form. The SEC requires this 606 report. According to this article on the M1 Finance website, it says M1 Finance accepts non-directed orders in NMS stocks that are submitted on a not held basis and therefore is not required to provide this report. So they go out of their way to hide this from you or to not make it available. They're placing orders and they're actually getting payment for order flow, but they won't tell you how much they're making. They'll tell you how much they made off of you for your trades. If you send them this email and if you send them this email, they'll tell you for the orders that you place with M1 how much they made off of your orders. But when you're comparing apples to apples and you want to do 100 share orders across the board for an entire month, they won't provide you that information. So it's very difficult to do a comparison. Another thing that's surprising is M1 Finance only does market orders. This is the report that they provide, that they're willing to provide. This was from 2017. Maybe you can find a newer one, but they're very, very cryptic and they don't show you much information. The funny thing about this is it shows that there's actually, this is a link right on the M1 Finance website that I pulled from, m1finance.com, and you can see the URL here. It shows that there's limit orders. So from the customer's point of view, there's actually no limit orders, but there's a delay. So if you place the orders in the morning, you've got the free account. I think it's not until 12 o'clock or something that the orders will go through. Now, they could do what they want with those orders. They could do limit orders, and I guess that's what they're doing here because it looks like most of the orders are limit orders, not market orders. You would think that they would just place market orders, but they're placing limit orders for the NASDAQ also, like 67% versus 2.8 for this one here. But they won't provide you the 606 form. If we look at Wealthfront, which also does only market orders, the Wealthfront stock investing account accepts no payment for order flow, none. It doesn't allow customers to make limit orders, so it's basically almost the same thing as M1. As a customer, you place the order, you select the stocks that you want added to a basket, and then you press buy, and then it places a market order, and I think it's within 30 minutes or an hour it places the order. But they receive no money for order flow, and this is the report that shows it. But with M1 Finance, you won't ever see a report like this, which is kind of disturbing. And I have read some Reddit feeds where people are complaining that they looked at the price that the orders were executed and they saw that there was a huge spread. They weren't happy with the prices that they paid when they placed the order through M1 Finance versus what was going on in the market, or if they placed an order through another broker. I'm not very happy with M1 because of this. Now, I do want to add that there's actually a broker or a service that's probably more like M1 Finance than any other one, even more so than Wealthfront stock investing, and that is called Composer Invest. Now, Composer Invest is a trading service where you can basically create algorithmic trading scripts. You can place an order, and the order will go through daily, weekly, quarterly. I think you can even do once a year. It'll do it basically targeted trade, but you could place the order, like this is my trade script that I have right here, and it's sort of an and if type thing. So, if one thing does one thing, then you can do another. You can set this up all different ways. It's not free. It's actually a paid service, and I do have a referral link that I'll put in the description. I think it's $20 a month or $50 a quarter or something like that. Anyways, if you place an order just like M1, there's a delay. The order's not going to go through right away. So right now, I think it's I'm on Pacific Standard Time. So if I set an order for this, it's not going to go through until I think it's around 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time if it's doing daily trades. And that's only if it meets a certain condition. If it doesn't meet the condition, then it'll do nothing. But the point I'm trying to make is this company does not receive pay for order flow. They send the orders to the brokerage Alpaca. Now, Alpaca receives pay for order flow, but we actually have the 606 report right here that you can see how much money Alpaca is making on their sales. You can see right here. Unlike M1 Finance, which hides this stuff is readily available. You can see roughly 35 cents. They're making roughly 35 cents per 100 shares of S&P 500 stocks. You can look down below. You could see they don't do options, so you don't have options. But non-S&P 500 stocks, around 11 cents. There you go. Was that difficult? But M1 Finance hides it. So that really leads me to believe, what are they hiding? Why are they hiding this? I mean, if Alpaca can provide it, also Webull uses Apex clearing. They're able to provide a link, and the pay for order flow through Apex through Webull is different than other brokers. So it's not like they all get the same pay for order flow. So that leads me to believe that M1 Finance is getting a lot of money from pay for order flow. That's why else would they be hiding it? Best overall. So out of all of them that we've looked at, which one is the best? I would say it's a toss-up between Vanguard and Fidelity, but due to the fact that Fidelity is more feature-rich, I would definitely say Fidelity is the winner, with Vanguard possibly being a close second. They have the least amount of fees for most of the sections. The exception with Vanguard would be those master limited partnership fees on the IRA account, but most of the other stuff was pretty decent. And Fidelity was also decent. You have no transfer out fees for both of these, which is great. You have no reorganization fees, and you have all the uninvested cash in the account is automatically reinvested at a high yield of almost 5% or higher. So definitely better than all the other ones. So I would say check out Fidelity if you're looking for low cost, or check out Vanguard. Out of all the brokers that I looked at, there was only one broker that had all three of these exit fees. So M1 Finance gets the award for having the most amount of leaving fees or exit fees. They have a $100 transfer fee. If you're not happy with them and you want to transfer to Fidelity or another broker, $100. There's also a transfer on death fee of $200. If you're an account holder, you pass away, $200. There's also a $100 IRA termination fee. This is only one of two that has a termination fee for the IRA, so very disappointing. Now, the thing that came to mind for me was like, okay, so what if you have an IRA and you pass away? Are you going to be charged a $100 IRA termination fee, the $200 death fee, and the $100 transfer fee for a total of $400? I don't know. Maybe. I would guess probably $200 or $300 at least. And the $100 transfer fee, I'm not sure about that. But this gives you an idea of where M1 makes their money. So you may have noticed, if you start looking at the spreadsheet first, you may have noticed that I left off Wealthfront stock investing. And the reason for that is Wealthfront has a very limited number of stocks that are available for trading. Even though they have a high 5.25% settlement account and there's no pay for order flow, which is good, they don't have many stocks available. So I can't really compare it to the other brokerages. So, if I could give this an up-and-comer award, I would say, yeah, maybe it gets an award for being the up-and-comer, for having no pay for order flow, for having a high 5.25% settlement account, and for having a feature that basically allows you to add stocks to a basket like M1 has without a fee and without all the hidden fees that M1 has. Anyways, that's my video for today. Please smash that like button, subscribe, share, comment. I have a promotion with Webull, up to 12 free shares of stock. The great thing about this is you don't need thousands of dollars. You can deposit any amount. They're going to randomly give you some free shares of stock. You also can sign up with their 5% APY cash settlement account, which is pretty good. Also, this one didn't have any reorganization fee, so you could hold stocks for a while and not have to worry about crazy fees like with eTrade and some of the others. So please look for the link in the description.